In my job as a business coach, I talk to people all day long. And while I get a lot of questions about starting businesses, starting up online, attracting your first clients, I was preparing my episodes for my recordings and I thought, wouldn't it be fun to create a series that's more about the 6 and the 7 figures. So today is the first episode of my 6 and 7 figure series. And today we're going to be talking about why you're not hitting 6 or even 7 figures online yet, and a couple of things to pay attention to. And then if we like this, I'm going to continue with the next episodes and outline some of the 6 and 7 figure secrets you need in order to scale. Okay, let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to Fail to Win, a show where we love to make mistakes and learn from them so you can turn your passion into profits and live life on your own terms. I'm Amy van der Putten from FastForwardAmy, your host and coach, and I'll bring you a new episode with simple strategies every Tuesday. As I was adding the intro, I was thinking maybe it might make sense that I start with the 6-figure secrets and then I go over to the 7-figure secrets. I don't know. I'll see how this goes. Let's start with this first episode, okay? So I often see a lot of people working really hard and at the same time, they're taking care of their family and their clients and they're exhausted and their bank account doesn't really reflect the hard work they've been putting into their company. And they're working so hard, but at the end of the day, they're not really building up. Like they're not hitting the 10K months. They're not hitting the 6 figures. Or maybe they've hit it once, but it's not consistent. And they're wondering, how can I change this? And if you're looking to build your first 6-figure a year, I have a couple of really good fixes for you. I think with a couple of tweaks, we're going to make it so that you hit that 6-figure year. There is a difference between 6 or 7 figures. So I think as I'm explaining all of this, we're going to see how this goes and how we're going to turn that into a series. So the first reason, or the first thing you need to know is you don't need to have a fully scalable offer in order to build a 6-figure business. You can build that wanted 6-figure business by being a consultant, by being a freelancer. It is possible if you want to keep trading your time for money. My recommendation would be that we kind of split it up, that we create a hybrid, and that we look at a part of your offer being online, a part of your offer being offline, or a part of it could be passive and a part of it could be active. But you don't actually have to choose, is what I want to say. You don't have to choose right now to only scale online. We can build a 6-figure business without having a full-time team and without having to go online full-time. But how do we do that and why is it not happening yet? Well, the biggest reason I see people not hitting their revenue goals is because they are not planning ahead enough. They're looking at what am I doing this month, next month, but they're not looking at what am I doing this quarter, next quarter, what am I doing this year? So for example, someone might have a 3-month program and they're launching it and then they're running it and they don't really know what the start date of the new one is. They don't really know when they're launching the next one. But at the very least, if you have like a 3-month program running, you should have a plan for the upcoming 6 months. So let's take the duration of your program and do that times 2. So you have your plan, because the moment you close registrations for this program, you want to be able to tell people, oh, here's the wait list. At that date, you're going to get access. You can register then. We'll start it up again. You don't want to come out of a launch super exhausted, if you're doing it in that way, and you walk out of that launch and then it starts all over again and you got to start making decisions all over again. But you're like, no, wait, I just did this. And this used to happen to me as well. I used to be really tired and then all of a sudden I had to make new decisions. And what you want to work towards is that you have already made those decisions so that when you get out of your launch, your program has started, you can just continue with the plan. And that is basically something I always recommend. Have a plan and stick to the timeline. It's really going to help you. So if you're not Yeah, an example could just be you have the 3-month program. Okay, then we plan in that you're doing it 3 to 4 times a year, and we just have that set up. It doesn't have to be necessarily the exact date, but we do kind of have to know when are you running what, and then obviously also run the numbers. If this is your focus and you want to hit 6 figures and you're running this program 3 times, well, then each round needs to be bringing in over 30K. And are you gearing up a launch to bring in 30K, or are we not getting there? Then that's the reason why you're always going back to trading time for money or implementing short-term offers, and then you're missing the ball on the big launch. So this is the first reason people don't hit a 6-figure, and definitely you cannot create a 7-figure business without planning. I mean, it happens, but it's a glitch. So lack of planning ahead is definitely an issue. What could be a solution? Figure out a way that you get to the point that you like planning. I'm someone, I don't love computers. I don't love my calendar. I really love whiteboards. So I found a whiteboard online that has a yearly plan on it. So I will put really big post-its on my wall, or I'll grab the whiteboard and I'll just be making a plan like that. It doesn't have to be super detailed. You just always want to know what's coming up next. The second reason you're not hitting, or most people aren't hitting 6 and definitely not 7-figure figures, is that they have really ineffective short-term offers. And what I mean by that is, the shorter your offer, and the shorter term is what I mean by that, the more time we have to put into selling. So I did this last year. My intuition was I want to do a shorter program for clients. I used to always have this thing I don't want to commit for too long. I don't know if I want to keep doing this. So I created this membership, and it was a 3-month membership. But that also meant that every 3 months I had to reconvince people to stay, announce a new theme, and also launch it again and again. And the payments were also coming in for 3 months. I figured out that I actually liked the membership format. I really liked giving my clients a staying offer, is what I call this. We have starter offers and staying offers. And as I figured that out, I realized okay, so I'm having them pay me for 3 months instead of for 12 months, because I'm afraid I won't be doing this year from now. And granted, I was also taking some time last year to figure out what it is I wanted to do. But then once I figured out I really loved doing that and I wanted to continue doing that, I realized I needed to make my offers longer term, because if I'm always selling, I don't have enough time for my clients. I don't have enough time for product development. Whereas if I can get them to sign on for a year, I don't have to worry about selling to them again for a year. And I can just get more cash flow in upfront, because 50% or more of my clients pay in full. So that means if I'm running a 4K program or a 1K program, I'm getting in 1K or I'm getting in 4K. And obviously, if you spread it out, it means the same thing, but you are getting in more cash upfront. So this is something I want you to think about. Can you create your offers longer? Can they run for longer? So I see so many people having a 4-week, 6-week, 8-week program, and that might be a good starter offer, but then you definitely want to make sure that your clients are staying and they're going into the next offer. So consider creating a staying offer, because if you're always having to sell to new people, that costs you way more effort than just holding on to clients who already love working with you. So consider creating offers that are longer, and make sure that you know what's my starter offer where I get the masses in. Those are the launches you plan. And then you have your staying offer where people can evolve into, basically. And if you run a product-based business, you're probably thinking, but Amy, what about me? Well, I'm not saying you're making all of these mistakes. Different people will listen to this episode and they will get different things out of it. But it might be that you are also not planning ahead. You don't know which launches you're planning for your products and what you're focusing on when. Whereas maybe you're making content ahead of time, but you don't know what you're launching. Let's say it's July and you're prepping your content for August in your newsletters, but you don't really know which campaign you're running for your products in August. Then it's going to be really difficult to combine your content with your sales. So always make sure that, if you look at it as two people, that content person knows what salesperson is doing, so you can kind of make it match, and there the planning is key. And for product-based businesses as well, what are you doing for follow-up? What are you doing 1 month after someone has bought your products? Are you following up with them? Are you asking if they have questions? Are you asking if they want more of the same? Just make sure you're always following up. Okay, so our third mistake that I see so many people make, and this is one that goes into the 7-figure drawer, but basically also 6 figures. It's that, in my opinion, there's not that big of a difference between 6 and 7 figures as long as you are building the 6-figure business in a really smart way. You can get it to 7-figure business by adding on a couple of things. But if you're not building the 6-figure business in a smart way, you're never, ever, ever going to get it to 7 figures. So the big mistake I see people making is that they are valuing their intuition over their data way too much. And by that, I mean, they're also letting fear of failure be disguised as intuition. For example, I'm not going to launch right now because I don't feel good and it's not going to work well. Okay, so you had a plan, or maybe you didn't have a plan, now you're not following the plan, and you've basically fucked up your entire year. Does that mean that you can't switch or move around your launches or sales dates? You absolutely can, but you can't be always doing it. It needs to be the exception, not the rule. So what I mean by saying the mistake is placing your intuition over your data is, for example, you think about what feels good for you instead of looking at your data. For example, maybe I love launching on a Saturday, but my data says that almost no one buys stuff from me on a Saturday. Should I follow my intuition or should I follow my data? For something like that, it's really important to follow the data. Maybe you looked at your offer and you set a price point, and you looked at your calendar and you planned it all in, because you're not making mistake number 1 from this episode, but you didn't run the numbers. How much are you actually making? Oh, maybe the price point is too low. So basically what I'm saying is, don't let your intuition or your fears or your emotions run your decisions. If you want to plan a 6 or 7 figure year, it's going to be really important that you know your numbers and you do something with it and you take into account in your planning. So for example, for me, I used to always have to make the same decisions every time I needed to look at, which price point or this or that. And then I started tracking everything. And now I know which price points perform well, which dates perform well, what I need to pay attention to. And it makes everything much, much easier. And that's how I've done already over 6 million in online sales. By the way, you might be interested in getting the 6-figure year or the 7-figure year. And I wanted to tell you, I have something for you. So basically, as it's August now, I am starting to get ready for my retreat in October, but also for some of my programs that are opening up for the year. And I have a program that gets you to your 100K year, but I also have 2 masterminds about scaling your business. So if you're interested currently in getting your first 100K year, if you text me the word 100K, so 100K, all in one word, on Instagram, we can chat about maybe building your first 100K year. Maybe you're interested in joining my program. On the other hand, maybe you're already further than 100K year, then just text me on Instagram and text me millionaire. And let's see, maybe you're a fit for my gold mastermind or my self-made millionaire mastermind. The focus is a bit different. One has a workshop and it's more about delegating. I have a couple of B2B clients. We do an in-person workshop in a couple of months. My other mastermind, the self-made millionaire mastermind, also has one-on-one access to me. It has a retreat in October. It's going to be really, really cool. Every 6 months there is a retreat. It's also more expensive. So if you're interested in either of those masterminds, just text me millionaire, okay? So 100K or millionaire, depending on where you're at. Okay, we talked about lack of planning long-term, having ineffective short-term offers, which is how you fuck up your cash flow, putting your intuition over your data. By the way, that doesn't mean you don't have to value your intuition, just not only your intuition, and especially not if you're confusing intuition for emotions and fear of failure. And then my last Here's what I see happening currently online. So many business owners are posting content, but they are posting and hoping instead of actually posting with purpose. They're creating content that might get some likes, but they're not really getting paying clients in. So if you're also feeling like you're posting into the void, but you'd rather really create content that brings in customers who actually want to pay in full for what you have to offer, my new Content That Gets Clients challenge is for you. I'm going to show you how to show up with confidence and really take a stand for what you believe in, how to create scroll-stopping posts that speak directly to your ideal clients and increase your views, and how to clarify your message so you start attracting paying clients, not just empty engagement. If you want to join me in this challenge and you're ready to turn your content into a client magnet, just send me a message with "Get Clients," all one word, or go to the link below and I'll send you all the details to join us. See you soon. Here's what I see happening currently online. So many business owners are posting content, but they are posting and hoping instead of actually posting with purpose. They're creating content that might get some likes, but they're not really getting paying clients in. So if you're also feeling like you're posting into the void, but you'd rather really create content that brings in customers who actually want to pay in full for what you have to offer, my new Content That Gets Clients challenge is for you. I'm going to show you how to show up with confidence and really take a stand for what you believe in, how to create scroll-stopping posts that speak directly to your ideal clients and increase your views, and how to clarify your message so you start attracting paying clients, not just empty engagement. If you want to join me in this challenge and you're ready to turn your content into a client magnet, just send me a message with "Get Clients," all one word, or go to the link below and I'll send you all the details to join us. See you soon. My second to last biggest mistake is inefficient time and cash management. And what I mean by that is I see a lot of people who want to scale, but they want to make more and they want people to pay them more, but they are not willing to let go or to invest more. They're not willing to invest in the right systems. They're not willing to invest in knowledge. And this is just, if you're not willing to spend, how are you expecting other people to spend on you? And I think the biggest way I see this happening is with systems, with AI, and also with virtual assistants. I think virtual assistants are amazing. I think you can accomplish so much if you just stop being in the trenches of your business all day long. And if you're currently feeling like you are spending too much time in your email inbox, you're spending too much time on your systems, you need some help, dare to invest in a virtual assistant for a couple of hundred or a couple of €1,000. Someone can help you set up so much, which is going to give you so much more time to focus on your sales and marketing. And I just want to invite you to this thought, like, what do you expect? You want to scale, but you don't want to invest. That's not how it works. So just consider investing in someone or something that can help you out. I think, a good example is I was just editing a video right before this podcast, and I was in the captions app, which is what I use for my subtitles. And the app just asked me like, "Oh, do you want to upgrade to Pro?" And I was like, "What's Pro?" And I saw a couple of things and it said, "Oh, AI and blah, blah, blah." So I was like, "Well, you know what? I'm going to try it for a month." And it's €30 a month. So I installed it and I immediately got a really good caption for my video, auto-generated, and not having to write that caption saves me another 2 minutes. Now, I know my hourly rate is over 1,000 per hour. That means if I divide that by 60, it means that 1 minute of my time is worth €16. Me not having to write a caption for 2 minutes already makes me that money back. And before you think, "Oh, but Amy, that's because your hourly rate is already so high," it's because I made my hourly rate high by not spending my time on stupid shit. So if you can automate it, automate it. If you can delegate it, delegate it. Make sure that you're focused on the data, you're focused on the planning, you're focused on the vision, you're focused on your clients, not on the stupid small stuff that a system can take over for you because you are blocking your growth. So stupid. You're not stupid. It's just the fact that our society is built in a way, we get taught in a way as kids, like, don't ask for help, do everything yourself. It's really, really going to block your growth as an entrepreneur. You need to do the exact opposite of what you were taught as a kid. taught as a kid. Sometimes English words are difficult for me. Okay, and what you need to know here is just simply the concept of opportunity cost. I talk about this a whole lot, just in case that you haven't heard me talk about it before. Opportunity cost is what does it cost you to not do something? So you might be thinking, oh, I'm saving so much time by making all of my invoices manually, and I need 1 hour a week, and I'm doing it manually, so good. I don't want to pay $20 for the system. In reality, what I see is that you're not spending that hour on your clients. Maybe a client would pay you €50 an hour, €50 or maybe if you made a video in that hour, you could get €500 in sales. So I see a really big opportunity cost of the fact that you continue to do everything yourself means that you're also not making money from other stuff or just making impact, right? So opportunity cost is what you want to learn to manage. I think this is the single biggest leverage you have. If you want to become a millionaire, you need to be able to leverage your time and your energy like a motherfucking professional. And then the last mistake, and the reason why you're not scaling, is because you don't have any outer circle content. And so this is a really big one. If you want to build a 6-figure business, you don't necessarily need a podcast. You don't necessarily even need long form content. I think those are two really big things that I would advise if you want to scale to 1 million and more. The podcast, the longer form content, all of that. If you're going for that 6-figure year, you don't need that longer form content being longer content like this podcast episode. But what you do need is really strong outer circle content that really positions you as an authority and continuously attracts new clients. And that means, for example, really valuable reels where people are like, oh my God, yeah, that's me. Oh my God. And they remember something you said. So that's what you want to create. You want people to remember something you said about something, and ideally something that gives them value and something that they then do every day. So if you're not doing that and you're not getting enough leads in for your programs and you're not selling enough, it's probably because you are not grabbing enough authority and attention at the top of your funnel, which is why you're having a lot of difficulty to convert people at the bottom of your funnel, because they're needing to be convinced about your offer, whereas you already want to just convince them about the value you're bringing so that they don't really need a lot of convincing about your offer. Outer circle content is the content that makes someone new immediately attracted to your brand and they're following and they're liking what they're seeing. That's what you want to create. Bottom of funnel content would be sales content, something really personal, things that people only care about if they're already in your funnel, basically. So let's recap all of this, and I'm going to give you a little gift to help you ahead. So we're going to recap. What you shouldn't do is not plan ahead. What you should do is plan ahead, and don't create only short-term offers. Make sure you're also creating longer-term offers that you include into your longer-term planning. Make sure you're not just listening to your intuition or mistaking it for fear of failure, or mistaking fear of failure for your intuition. This happens a lot. It's almost, a lot of people are like, oh, it's not a good time to launch. It's almost always a good time to launch. You want to be looking at your data. What performs well when? A good example of this is I was talking to a client a couple of days ago, and she said, oh, yeah, launching in August. I don't know if that works well. And then a half an hour into that conversation, she realized that last year she launched in the middle of August and her launch was sold out in a day. That doesn't mean that had to do with the exact date that she launched, but it also means that it's possible in August. So that's a good example. So make sure you're tracking your data. How many people are you selling to? How many people are on your wait list? How fast does it convert? These are things you want to remember for the next time so that you know if you're on the right track or not. And then my last two things I see as mistakes is inefficient time and energy management. So not managing your opportunity cost, not managing your cash in the right way. You're holding onto your cash, which is blocking you from making more cash, and a lack of outer circle content, which means you're not doing enough to attract new leads. Remember, the more that you attract new leads with strong content, the easier it is going to be to also convert existing leads into clients. Okay. And my gift for you is, maybe this kind of makes sense, but what I was saying about the funnel and the outer circle and everything, you're like, oh, I don't really know if this is making sense. And maybe you want to see all of this in a visual. I had a session with a one-on-one client a couple of months ago. It was a really good session. She came to me, she said, I want to stop working evenings. I want to go to multi-six figures. I want more time with my kids and I want most of it to be done online. We had a look at how she was going to do that and I taught her my million method. And I want to teach my million method to you too for free. All you need to do is go to my Instagram, to FastForwardAmy, and DM me the word methods, and I'm going to send you my million method training that's going to teach you how you can create $1 million or more business. And also, if you're at 5 figures currently, you're working towards that first 6-figure year, that's okay. We're going to use all of it to build a really strong 6-figure business that you can then, if you want to, turn into $1 million business. All you need to do is just DM me the word method and I've got you, okay? Have a really happy day. And I'll talk to you next week for a new episode of the 6-Figure Secrets. Bye-bye. Hey, before you go, I have something really exciting to share because in the last year, I have been lucky enough to have clients fly all over the world to work with me. I've been selling out my mastermind programs and people have just been literally messaging me, hey, how can I work with you? And some would say that's luck, but it's actually not luck. Over a year ago, I decided to build myself a system that would allow me to be offline, plan content ahead, and just get leads and sales in every single day. And for the first time ever, I am opening this up to teach other people how they can build their own marketing machine. So this is called my authority system. And in 90 days, I can teach you how you can become the go-to expert in your sector who everyone wants to book. We're talking getting premium clients in who want to pay you in full. We're talking premium clients who pay your worth, who don't negotiate your prices. And you are finally going to be the one who gets invited to the podcasts and the events and all of that. Now, this program is only available by invitation and spots are extremely limited. And the first people who sign up will also get a discount. So if you are tired of being the best kept secret in your industry and you want to become the authority, message me invite on Instagram and I'll send you an invite to the closed list, or just simply go to the link in the description of this episode. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on this one. Hey, before you go, I have something really exciting to share because in the last year, I have been lucky enough to have clients fly all over the world to work with me. I've been selling out my mastermind programs and people have just been literally messaging me, hey, how can I work with you? And some would say that's luck, but it's actually not luck. Over a year ago, I decided to build myself a system that would allow me to be offline, plan content ahead, and just get leads and sales in every single day. And for the first time ever, I am opening this up to teach other people how they can build their own marketing machine. So this is called my authority system. And in 90 days, I can teach you how you can become the go-to expert in your sector who everyone wants to book. We're talking getting premium clients in who want to pay you in full. We're talking premium clients who pay your worth, who don't negotiate your prices, and you are finally going to be the one who gets invited to the podcasts and the events and all of that. Now, this program is only available by invitation and spots are extremely limited. And the first people who sign up will also get a discount. So if you are tired of being the best kept secret in your industry and you want to become the authority, message me invite on Instagram and I'll send you an invite to the closed list, or just simply go to the link in the description of this episode. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on this one.